Hey everyone, Brian here for Work to Game, and today I wanted to share some thoughts that I had as we enter into a new year and move towards a new expansion. Now that the dust has settled on Tokyo FanFest, and as well as the community speculate and debate on Spider-Man t-shirts and new raids, and really look forward to 3.5, and obviously the Frankfurt FanFest, I wanted to take this time to focus on some small hopes that I actually have for Stormblood. These little things that, when added up together, I think they add something to the game experience. So while I'm looking forward to obviously more raids, zones, battles, bosses, and all that is new that an expansion brings to the game, I'm also hoping for some little things. To start, open world level sync and obviously a reason to do content in the zones around endgame. You know, we have hunts, and those come and go depending on what people are wanting to really farm. But one of the things that really feels missing about the 14 world is kind of these open world dungeons and areas that are dangerous at the level cap. I'm hoping that Eureka will offer us some insight into this and some kind of way of satisfying this need. But one of the exciting things about Heaven's Word was the difficulty of the zones. But now, 4 patches later, geared up, those mobs don't really pose any type of threat. I don't think that 14 is a game where those zones should be filled with impossible monsters, but it would be great if there was an area in the game that was. Then there was the ability to obviously then sync together as a party. This would really help with leveling up friends as they run through the content. Right now you can do fates and you can do dungeons, but if you're helping them run from quest line to quest line, it really does kind of steal or siphon their XP, so you end up dropping party a lot in between those various contents, which is just a hassle. It's a hassle for them as a new player. It's a hassle from you from taking time to help them level up. So hopefully we'll see that, and that can always propose interesting ways to do various open world content. Like treasure maps are there, like we've got some things, but hopefully we'll see that expand a little bit more with Stormblood. So NPC party members, I would love for them to actually show up in the party list. Right now, when you go and you run any of the story-based battle fights and any of those quests, especially as a healer, you have your NPC party members, and you probably, if you're healing, you need to heal them, but it ends up being that you don't have them in a party list, so you have to kind of target them just like any target in the game. For most, maybe, and this really isn't necessarily a huge issue, I would just love to see party members brought into that party list just like they are, now when you're playing with any real human being. It would set the stage to kind of communicate that we are in fact a group. And, maybe there are limitations and restrictions that from a development perspective, it would actually be a lot harder to implement. But I think, if nothing else, it would be, in my opinion, a very nice little addition to the game as well. And speaking of, obviously, NPC party members, the whole Chocobo Battle Companion thing was interesting at first. It was an interesting idea, but when executed and really what we've got, it's not that great. I'm looking forward to them actually being moved into the kind of pet category, and I'm hopeful that will actually help, but I really want something more. I was really originally hoping for something like Final Fantasy XII's Gambit system. Yoshi P even said they were going to put this in the game at some point, but we haven't seen that as of yet. So I hope that didn't actually get cut out. But with Gambits, it would be nice to, even regardless of our story missions and our NPC party members, etc., it would be nice to be able to kind of set some of their logic. For those of you who don't know, the Gambit system was a way that you could set your NPC's logic to behave certain ways under certain conditions. Now, maybe this isn't needed for the story quests, but we do have the squadron system, and I think something along those lines would be very nice to be able to control and set their logic. One of the biggest complaints about the Chocobo Companion system has been the fact that your Chocobo would always stand in bad things. They wouldn't do what you would want them to do. And that's actually one of the things that I find missing with Final Fantasy XV is the ability to kind of issue these gambits. You can issue commands, but that's neither obviously here nor there. That's a whole rabbit hole that we can get down. But with 14, with the squadron system, with those companions, I would love to see them fulfill that promise of the Gambit system brought into the game, allowing us to have kind of that makeup. Now, I'm not proposing that because I know the argument, or especially a counter argument to having, player NPC, party members would be that this is an online game. You need to play with your party members, and I agree. I think maybe for all current content that the NPC party member system isn't needed. That could always be something that could be evaluated and watched. But for all old content, you have ARR content. By Stormblood's time, you'd have Heavensward content. You have a lot of stuff out there that would be interesting to be able to go and challenge, either as a mixed party, both NPC players and humans, or if you wanted to go try and tackle it all on your own, consisting solely of NPC party members. Now, that in and of itself is a programming challenge, so technically this isn't a little thing. It's just the fact that they talked about it when they announced Stormblood that I would like to see them and see maybe where they are with it. And with the squadron system, I'm hopeful that we'll start to see more and more down the line with that. Yoshi P did mention the ability to kind of fight alongside our Magitech armor. Personally, I'm not that excited about it. Having played a lot with the Chocobo companion system, I was like, okay, what I want is some a character that's got a job that I can gear up and I can really kind of set how I want them to function. That to me seems interesting, and it would be interesting in an online world that would be that of a mix of a blend. That would be that kind of mix of human players and NPC players. Alright, so back to maybe a simple thing. I want them to upgrade the link shell system and perhaps even the free company system. So what I'm meaning here is that while I'm sure there are obviously free companies out there that are full of people, all active and looking for content to do, it feels like the game really ends up relying more on link shells to communicate across free companies. It would be great to see them upgrade the link shell tools to kind of help manage those communities a bit better, like messages of the day, basic information, searchable, joinable, maybe even recruitable, maybe even expanded. It's locked at 128 people right now. It would be awesome if we could obviously, maybe even link our link shells to maybe our free company chat, so that for those of you, those out there that manage a free company and a link shell, that those two communities could kind of somewhat be involved. You can join the free company for extra benefits, but if you want to, obviously maintain your own free company, you can join our link shell, and you're still going to get notified when people join, when people, log in, and things like that. So it just ends up increasing the ability for those communities. So I'd like to see that brought into the system, as well as there's 100 things I would like to see them do with the communities in the game, and maybe a dedicated video on that. It would be needed at a later time, but I'm interested obviously in your thoughts. What would help improve the in-game community? And for free companies, I would love to see some type of kind of recruitment message. Now, if you're logged in, people can kind of check you and see like, oh, you're actively recruiting, and they can apply. But it would be great if there was just a central hub in the game that, just like with the party finder, like free company finder, where players could see, oh, here's the free companies, here's the ones that are recruiting, and they can kind of read about your free company and see some stats on them, and then decide to apply from kind of a shared menu rather than by chance running across somebody who's got your logo next to their name. Okay, so, and then the big one, and this is one of the reasons why, as part of the video, you're seeing the Aquapolis in the background, is that I want more variety in our content. I know how well, no matter really how well you design content, it's eventually going to get stale. The case in point is obviously you look at the Expert Roulette. However, like if you look at Aquapolis, it's still very exciting to me. It's, it's been out for a long time, and it's still something that I'm always looking forward to doing. Now, visually, there really isn't much there. It's several rooms, pretty much the same size. Eventually, as you go in, it gets, filled with more and more gil as you get rewarded. But the excitement, kind of this randomness that comes with will you stay or will you go, is pretty interesting. And the Palace of the Dead also kind of serves this functionality as well. It's fascinating, and it's addictive almost. It's kind of, there is a sense of rewarding and accomplishment that comes with, the RNG with it. Now, that being said, is that I would want, obviously, like if it was going to be bigger content, for it to be bigger. I would like it to be drawing from, the open world, from maybe even instances, and all the various content that we have already. And so I guess a good example of this would be a Diablo 3's rift type system. So in Diablo 3, as you progress and you clear the rift, you can go further, and it gets more challenging and more challenging. And what it's doing is it's just pulling from the various set pieces that it has, throughout the game. So the player doesn't really know what they're going to get next. They just know that it's going to be harder, and then they go and they try to see how far they can get. Now Diablo 3's got that they've got the various things that keep people coming back, and it's really quite an interesting game. I'd like to see Final Fantasy draw some inspiration from that. Now, again, I'm not talking about doing that, overdoing the raids and the alliances and all that what we're going off of. I'm focusing on Yoshi P's idea that he wants to continue to build in more attractions to the game. And looking at, the Aquapolis and Palace of the Dead, it's, from a visual and an artistic perspective, there isn't much that they have to go and create that's new. They've already got a lot of this created. It's just a matter that you can kind of build in these little fun aspects to it. So I, for one, fully would love to see, like that. And that's what I mean by that variety, bringing in some, top tier designers to really kind of bring out some of the best that we have in the game in and of itself. And then I've said it before, and I've said it multiple times, and I'll say it again here, 8-man dungeons. I think the biggest drawback to the ones that we have were they were so focused and so ingrained in the story with the cutscenes that it just, killed people's interest in doing them. And I think that sent the wrong message, that we are interested in doing 8-man dungeons, and I hope that we'll see more of those in the future as well. And they could even do the requirement like they do for the Alliance, where you have 1 tank, 2 healers, and then you have 5 DPS to really, from a queue perspective, bring in more DPS per run as well. Okay, so those are really just my thoughts and my hopes that I like to see in Stormblood, obviously outside of raids and various jobs. But I'm just kind of throw this out to you guys. What small things would you like or be hopeful for? My list, maybe it's small, I don't know, but I'll let you be the judge. But let me know in the comments below. Let's have that kind of conversation. I'm interested in seeing what is important for y'all that we, obviously haven't had announced to us as well. But anyway, I just want to thank y'all for watching this. My name's Brian, and this is Work to Game. Please hit that like button if you like this video, and if you didn't, that other button works just as well, I hear. Thanks for subscribing, and if you haven't yet, we do hope you come back and check us out again, and stick around, because we really would love to have you. So until next time, I hope to see you in my next video, but until then, take care.